What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, I did swear into the DEP program, so this is going to be pretty much my experience on going to Meps. So if you're interested, just keep watching, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom. As you can tell, there has been a drastic improvement in the quality of my videos. So I have my camera up now. It just took me a while to, set up lighting and charge my battery. So yeah, I hope you guys like, my setup and everything. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So if I keep looking down, I'm pretty much looking at my phone. I have a whole list of everything that happened at Meps. I think this is like my third time recording this video, so hopefully third time's a charm. But yeah, I pretty much got everything written on my phone and how my day went, what I ate, what happened when I swore in, la la la. So that's gonna be what the video is about. But yeah, if you guys have any questions that you wanted to ask about Meps, especially for females, as far as the physical exam that I haven't touched on, leave a comment down below, or if you wanted to DM me privately, you can hit me up on Instagram, and I'll leave that down below as well. So Meps, dress code, pretty much what you wore the first time if you did go to take the ASVAB at Meps, just regular clothes. Women, make sure you wear the proper type of bra, just plain, nothing lacy, no lacy underwear, just boy shorts is fine. And make sure to wear socks as well, and closed-toed shoes. And I think that's pretty much for dress code. Time of arrival, I showed up around 5:30 in the morning just to make sure that I was early, and they did open up at 6, so I got at the door around 5:50, and everybody else was already lined up, so I made sure to be the first in line so that I will be first in at the medical portion. So just keep that in mind. When you first line up at the door, you want to be the first in line. Next thing, after entering the building, you're going to go through metal detectors, and you pretty much put all your belongings into these little baskets. So if you hear something in the background, I don't know what that is, something with the wall, but we're going to go ahead and continue with this video because ain't nobody got time. Yeah, when you go through the door, you're going to go through these metal detectors, and then you're going to put all your belongings into a little basket, and you're going to walk through it, and if nothing beeps, you're good to go. If something beeps, you got to figure out what it is, and then walk through it again once it doesn't beep. And then after that, you're going to put all your belongings, if you have extra things, into this room that has cubbies. And you pretty much put all your belongings. You just need your driver's license, social security card, and any paperwork that your recruiter told you to bring. For my Meps, I wasn't allowed to bring my jacket in, but then later on when they did the briefing, we were allowed to bring it in. So just keep that in mind. And if you were to bring a jacket, just make sure it's a zip up and not some type of hoodie, because you might have to take that off later on. Alright, after you've put all your stuff into one of the cubbies, you're going to head to your liaison's office and check in with them there. So when you get over there, they're going to give you your little name tag. So you're going to look for your name on the wall, and then you pretty much pick it off and put your name tag on your right upper, like this upper chest area. So you're going to put it right there, and then they're going to give you a big packet pretty much with all your medical documents and everything that the doctors need to look over. Yeah, and then after that, you're going to go ahead and head to medical. So once you're in medical, you're going to check in at the reception desk at medical, and then they're going to, do your little fingerprint and then tell you where to go. So the first for me was my eye exam. And there's different eye exams that they did for me. I did, the regular type of eye exam that you look for the letters. You pretty much read that row of letters. And then also, somebody calling me. Hello? Oh my God. Y'all must be scaring me, man. Anyway. So they did different type of eye exams, pretty much the regular vision test, and I did depth perception. There was one, there was a bunch of dots with numbers on it, and you had to match it up with a bar to see where it connects. So something like that. And I also did one where there was a red hot balloon and my eyes would focus on that. I also did another one with without my glasses on, and I thought I was gonna fail this eye exam because I don't recall, I don't really know if my doctor told me I had astigmatism or not, but I was a little scared because I did see a lot of people online saying, you know, they had to get waivers for their astigmatism. They didn't even know they had it. And then when they went to Meps, they had to get a waiver for astigmatism because the doctor told them that they had it. So I was a little scared on that. So luckily I passed on that. And there was another one. It was the color blindness test. So I had to do that one, and the guy just pretty much flipped through this little book pretty fast, and you would read off whatever numbers you saw. So there was a couple eye exams, and you know, it wasn't that hard. I squinted really hard on one of the eye exams when I didn't have my glasses, and I'm shocked I could read it, honestly, but at least I passed. So he pretty much, you know, squiggled through everything, that I checked everything out, and I was good to go, and he sent me on my way to my hearing exam. So when I went to the hearing test area, I had to just sit down and wait for other people to show up so we could all go in at once. So once more people started to finish with their tests and they started sitting on the chairs, the lady called us back, and then we pretty much went in this room. It had little booths. You had your own little booth, and there's a little curtain where you pull so you don't see the person next to you. She pretty much briefed us on what was going to happen, what you would hear, and when to click it. So when she was done with that, we put on these headphones. They're really odd looking. They're not like regular type of headphones. They were more like plastic feeling. One side was blue and one was red. So just make sure you put it on the right ear. Yeah, you get a little clicker, so every time you hear. So there's gonna be 3 little dings, and just make sure on the first one, you make sure to click it. So at one point during the hearing test, I couldn't hear anything. I was just like clicking at one point because I didn't know what I was hearing. It just went silent. And I saw some videos online where like just make sure to kind of continue clicking, but every time I would count, I'll be like 1 2 3 click, 1 2 3 click. That's pretty much what I did. I don't know, you guys could do the same, but hey, I passed. And when I walked out of there, I looked at my thing and there wasn't a check mark next to the hearing, so I kind of got a little scared because all the other females that were with me, like, they had check marks on some of theirs and some people didn't. So I was like, you know, did we fail or did we pass? I didn't know. So I think the lady just forgot to check it, because later on she did check it when I went to do my blood test, but we'll get to that later. So after the hearing, we went into this little room. There was this captain that came in, pretty much briefed us on what was going to happen through Meps and what our day was going to be like, where the fire exits were, what's going to happen if there's a shooting, all of that. So he went over that, and it was about 15 to 20 minutes, I would say. And just make sure not to fall asleep, because there was this one dude that was dozing off. I think he fell asleep, and yeah, he got called out for it, and luckily that guy was really nice, so he didn't kick him out, so he just had the dude just stand the whole time. But so yeah, that's how that went. So after the briefing, the females and the males got split up. So us females went into the cafeteria, and that's where we did our breathalyzer test to check if, you know, we got alcohol in our system, and also our blood pressure test. And we also had to fill out this form that had a human body thing on there. So we pretty much circled where we had our scars, birthmarks, any tattoos, piercings. So you're gonna circle each one and number it. So once we were done with that, we went to go back into medical, and we had to sit, you know, where we're gonna get our blood drawn. So as some people were getting their blood drawn, some people were doing their urinalysis. So I did my urinalysis first, and it was me and this other girl. It's just two of us first. So it was 2 at a time. And yes, from other videos, they do say that somebody is going to be watching you pee. So a lady was in there and she did watch us pee. So you grab your little cup from the basket, and then you pretty much, you know, pee in it. You have to make sure that you fill it up like all the way or halfway. I'm not too sure on that, but you have to fill it up a certain amount, because if you don't, you're gonna have to dump it out and restart again, and you only have one other chance to do that. So make sure that you hold your pee, or you don't pee before you do it. So that's very important, because if you do and you end up failing the second one, then you have to be sent home and you have to come back and redo it. So just keep in mind that you have to have your bladder full before you do that. Yeah, after the urinalysis, she's gonna tell you not to wash your hands, and then you're gonna take your little cup that has probably pee all over it. Some of mine was like dripping. It was disgusting, but you have to grab this warm cup of pee and then close it up and then put it in this little window. So this little window, and the guy is on the other side. He's gonna take his little droplets and do his thing, and then check if you're pregnant, which I wasn't. And yeah, after that, that's pretty much it. When he tells you you can go wash your hands, then you go do that, and then I went back out, and that's when I went to go get my blood drawn. So I had my blood drawn on my right side. So pretty much she asks you, you know, when you sit down, she's like, have you ever fainted by getting your blood drawn? Have you ever donated? All of that. And yeah, that was pretty quick. So she just takes one little tube of it and then bandages you up, and then the last part of it is pretty much the you know, you sit with a doctor and also the duck walk. So after that, I went and I sat with the other females in our group. We sat in front of the doctor's office, and pretty much each one of us, you know, went in one by one, as she called next. And with this one, she just had me go into the other room, get undressed, and I had to put on this little like paper thing. Like if you've been to your doctor to get, you know, like a pap smear or whatever, or like some type of exam, physical exam, it's just really this paper bag, and then you put it over you. It was like blue, and you weren't allowed to, you know, tie the back so she could check back there. So I pretty much just held it like that. So, and you don't have any clothes on at that point. So she pretty much, you know, looks over everything, and I mean everything. So with most videos that I saw online, there was a lot saying, you know, like they spread their legs or whatever. This is for us females, I mean, obviously, but you know, they say you spread your legs and all that, but she didn't have me do any of that. I pretty much just like laid over and put my knees like close to my chest like that, and I was laying on my left side, and then she just picked it up, looked, and it was about 1 to 2 seconds, and that was it. She did, you know, have me take off my sleeve on one side, take it off, and she'll like look over like this, and you know, she checked my back, and then she also like held my head like this, and you know, saw if my head was shaking or anything like that. But you know, that was really it. It was like quick, tap tap. It was about, I would say 7 minutes. I would say like 7 minutes. But yeah, it was a really fast exam. So for the doctor's exam, one tip that I can like 100% say is please do not change anything on your medical, like whatever you told your recruiter, please make sure that you keep it the same. Like before I went there, I made sure to review everything that was on there, all the dates. You're gonna need to know dates of when things happen, or when you were diagnosed with whatever, when it got cured, like, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, just make sure not to change anything. Like my recruiter like highly emphasized that, and I emphasized that, like, don't change it. And yeah, just please don't change it. She didn't like look in detail at anything. And with this doctor, I don't know, she was a little like rude and a little abrupt. But for the things that she was saying, like I could barely hear her. She would talk so low, and I don't think she was in a good mood that day. She was like coughing when I was in there. She was sick. But yeah, got through that. And then once all the girls got done, we all went into this room, which is the room that I got undressed in, and we all went in there. And then we had to strip down again to our underwear and bra, and then that's when we were gonna do the duck walk. So there's like different type of exercises. I'm pretty sure there's like a million videos online about it, but you guys can look that up. Yeah, there's a bunch of exercises, maybe like 10 to 15 that we had to do, and we just watched this little video and kind of followed through with it. And she would watch us like either as a group or individually. But for like the duck walk, you do have to do it individually. There was about 8 or 9 of us, so each of us would go and then the next person would go. And I was one of the first to kind of like flump it a little bit, but luckily I got it on the second time. But honestly, the duck walk is a little hard, so I would definitely try to practice on that. Yeah, so after we did everything for the orthopedics section, there was a lady that came in. She was in the army, and she came in and did our height and weight. So for my height, I'm 5'1". I had to be my max was 145, and you know, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I've been on this weight loss journey, just trying to make weight and keep it under my max. So when I weighed, I was at 138, so I'm really happy about that. And yeah, so I ended up passing my weight. And after that, all of us ladies went back and waited outside the doctor's office, and she called us back again one by one, and she pretty much just signed off. With this one, it didn't take 7 minutes. With this one, it literally took like 30 seconds. She just pretty much signed off on our paperwork, and she was like, you know, congratulations, you passed the medical portion of Meps. So after that, we had to check out at the front area of the medical section, and we just checked out there. She pretty much, you know, I don't know what she did with our paperwork, but you know, she entered it in the computer, said, you know, congratulations, you passed the medical portion of Meps, and was really happy. Unfortunately, there was one of the girls with us that didn't pass, so that kind of sucked for her. But yeah, most of us were happy. And yeah, after we checked out, we had to go see our liaisons again to go over our contract and whatnot. So I headed back to the Airforce liaison, and from there, he pretty much, you know, said, you know, have you eaten lunch yet? And I was like, no. So I went and grabbed my lunch. So you go into the cafeteria, and they have this brown bag there, and you pretty much, you know, pick the stuff that you want to put in there. So in the bag already, there was an apple, chocolate chip, cookie, and some Lay's chips. And then I got to pick my sandwich. I think there was different ones there. There was, I picked ham, and there was roast beef. I don't know if there was tuna and turkey, but you just pick your sandwich and you get the condiments and whatever, mayo, mustard, and you got to pick your drink. I got Brisk. They had like different sodas and water, but I just got like, you know, some sweet tea. I think that day they were having a potluck, so we couldn't eat inside the cafeteria at the moment. So what they had us do was we went back into the little briefing room that we went in, and we pretty much just ate our lunch in there. And they allowed us to have our phones in there since they closed off the cafeteria. So with phones, technically you're not allowed to have it, you know, like open, like in most of the areas of Meps. There's only specific areas you can have your phone at, which is the USO, the cafeteria, and in the liaisons area. So you can only have your phone out in those specific areas. If they catch you with your phone out, which I did see one dude get caught with his phone and they took it away and almost kicked him out. But if you get caught with your phone, they're gonna take it for the rest of the day and give it to the liaison, or if they catch you, they might kick you out. So just don't risk it. I would just turn it off and, you know, keep it in your cubby until it's time for lunch or whatever. But yeah, after I ate my lunch, I went back to my liaisons and we pretty much went over, you know, my contract. And one thing that I did have to do was I had to lift 70 pounds. I think the minimum was 40, but if you want to get, you know, the most jobs, I would definitely try to lift 70 pounds. That thing was hard. So for you ladies out there, just practice on lifting 70 pounds. It was like an ancient machine. It kind of looked like a Smith machine, and that thing was harder than it looks. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I tried to lift that thing like 7 or 8 times and I just could not, like, for the life of me, I could not. Like, you can't have your arms like, you know, you gotta like kind of bend down and then hold it up right here to your chest, and then you gotta push up. So you can't push up and have it right here even though it's already overhead. You literally had to extend your arms like this. So just make sure that you're able to lift 70, because if not, you lose on in what, like 17 to 19 jobs. So I don't think that was worth it. So I made sure to lift it. For the first 7 to 8 times that I tried to lift it, I could not. So what I did was I told him that I couldn't lift the 70 at the moment, that I needed to like regroup and come back to it. So he ended up sending me to get my background check. Over there, that's where, you know, you list your emergency contacts, your address, and, you know, your name. I'm not sure if he really went over your contract, but he did show it to me. And then you know, who your beneficiary is gonna be, and like who's gonna arrange your funeral, like in case you pass or whatever, and stuff like that. And I also had to do fingerprints on all my fingers. And then once that was done, I went and used the bathroom and had a drink of water. And at that point, I was pretty much rested already, so I think I was ready to lift the 70 pounds. So I went back to the liaison's office, and thank God, like, I just needed that little break, because when I went back, you know, your girl lifted it. But yeah, I ended up lifting the 70 pounds, and oh my God, I was so freaking relieved. Like, I was scared I wasn't gonna lift that, because if I didn't lift it, that would have been like 17 to 19 jobs I just lost out on. But thank God all this working out, because I just did shoulders the other day before going to Meps. I didn't think it would affect me that much, but I think my body was still like so sore, because I had a pretty intense workout. It was like so sore, I just could not lift it. But thank God I ended up lifting it. But definitely work on 70 pounds. It may not seem a lot, but for us females, that's a lot. So pretty much after the 70 pounds was lifted, he pretty much went over my contract if I wanted to sign a 4 or 6 year contract. And I ended up signing a 6-year contract, which is technically 8. And yeah, from there he printed out a list of jobs that I was qualified for in the Air Force. So he gave me a piece of paper that had all the jobs that the Air Force needs for the month of February. And what I did was I matched up, you know, my wants and what the Air Force needs, and whatever the Air Force needed, I listed those as my top choices. And then after that, I would list the jobs that I wanted. So you have an option of listing up to 20 jobs. So I ended up listing the whole 20 jobs, and out of those 20, there was 2 that were general aptitude areas. So I ended up listing open general and also open admin as my general areas. And yeah, after you've put down all your jobs, he's gonna let you know when the next swearing is gonna be, and you can call any of your family members or whatever. So he pretty much gave me a little slip of paper that I had to bring to the reception desk at Meps, and they put me down in the system to be sworn in. Then before the swearing, they bring you into this little room and they pretty much go over your contract again, and they have you sign it. And in there was a Marine that was giving us the briefing. So they pretty much show you how to stand at attention and stand at parade rest, and like how the whole ceremony is gonna go. And you sign your contract again one last time, and then after that you end up going into this big room. It has a bunch of flags in it, and I think it's called the ceremony room, but that's where you're gonna do your swearing. So you end up all going in and lining up, and then they call your family members in. So yeah, they pretty much do the whole spiel of, you know, congratulations and, you know, that whole swearing part. And I'm also going to insert a little video of myself swearing in at the end of this, but
do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend.
that I will support and defend.
Alright, you may relax. Give yourselves a round of applause. Let me be the first person to tell you how proud I am.
yeah, once you're done with that, they give you your contract and you pretty much bring it back to your liaison's office, and that is pretty much the end of Meps. Yeah, all you gotta do lastly is make sure you go to the reception desk one last time and sign out with your fingerprint and give them the little name tag, because you can't walk out with it. If you do, they'll yell at you, because that happened the last time I went to Meps, if you've seen my previous video when I went there. But yeah, that was pretty much my day at Meps. It wasn't too bad actually. Like I didn't even mind it, because the group of women that were with us, they were pretty chill. You know, we were talking the whole time, honestly. I think there was one time the lady just told us to calm down, but we were in the main general area, so, you know, we just toned it down a little bit. But every other area, everybody was chill. And yeah, I'm so happy, you know, I finally swore into DEP. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, you know, like the struggle that I've been through, and just swearing in, it just felt so unreal. And I'm so happy that I'm finally, you know, I'm finally in. I mean, I'm not an airman yet until I get to basic and graduate, but at least, you know, I've gone through the hardest part. I can just say that, like, this whole journey has been crazy. Like, I've had so much bad luck happen to me. Like, I had to wait a whole month because I got some random rash on my body from something, like, I don't even know. And then I got sick. Like, I got the whole story on my Instagram on one of the pictures I posted when I swore in. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, that's the end of the video. Again, if you have any questions, leave it down below or hit me up on Instagram if you want to, you know, ask me privately or whatever about anything on the female section. I'm not too sure on the males. Obviously, I'm not a male, but yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, any suggestions on different videos you want me to film, leave it down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And again, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.